Hello, everyone, and welcome to Robin Holland's Spark Your Message Grand Opening Party. This is going to be an awesome hangout, as I know you all know. Today, Robin is going to be sharing with us what she's up to and how it can help you or someone that you know. So you're probably wondering who I am, actually. I'm Lisa Ingalls. I'm your moderator for today, and I'm the founder of Interstate Coaching, where I work with people who are waking up and changing the world. And I'm a consultant, I'm a mentor, and I'm an awakener. But enough about me. I want to talk to you a little bit about Robin and how I met Robin, which was actually a little bit over a year ago now. And over the past, I guess it was since summertime, since this past summer, Robin and I have become really great friends. We actually found out that we live pretty close to each other, so we've been able to see each other locally and hang out quite a bit. And what I've noticed about Robin is that she really is brilliant in her ability to help people identify and step into their unique message so that they can connect at an authentic level with their ideal audience. So before I bring Robin on, I do want to tell you just a little bit more formally about her and what she's done in her career, because it's a lot, you guys. First and foremost, Robin helps business owners to shine their message more powerfully and authentically in the world. She's a business consultant, she's an advisor, and she's also an optimizer. So Robin has worked in the creative industry since the mid-1980s. First, she was working in San Francisco ad agencies. Then she worked with Fisher Mountain Bikes, and then she went on to Lucas Film Games, and then she eventually ended up in a company with her now husband, her game designer husband, for a company called Totally Games. So I'm going to just bring that all together and open up the stage here for our wonderful, wonderful Robin Holland.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for your support here. It means so much to me to be supported by you as a colleague and have you here. What I am going to share today is sort of my coming out party, if you will, about what I do and why I do it and who I do it with. And at the end, I'll make a little surprise for you. I work with successful, established business owners who are feeling stuck or uninspired in their work, and they don't know what to do about it. And I help them. This is what I tell people when they ask me, what do I do? I help them to reconnect to their mission and respark their message so they can thrive again in their business. Now, their business may not be sagging, it may just be going along perfectly well, but there's something going on in the business owner where they're desiring to be stepping up on a bigger stage. And so that's what I tell people when they ask me, what do you do? Now I want to tell you a little bit more about what that is specifically. So first, in the what portion of my sharing with you, I'm going to tell you about a situation where I got to help a particular person named Sandy to uncover her genius and to express that in a much more magnificent way in her company. Sandy has a business that's very established. She has more than 50 employees. It's a family-owned business, and it's a brilliant business in its space. It's definitely the leader. We had their company do work for us, and we were very happy with the work, very happy with the work. And what ensued between Sandy and I was a conversation, business owner to business owner, as we discussed, we became friends about what does it mean when you're working in your business and you're not having the time to work on your business, to put some real CEO hat type effort into what is my business and where do I want to take it. As Sandy and I talked, I was able to say to her, I know exactly how it feels when you find yourself being the one who's actually entering the building, or when you're the one who is taking out the trash even. You know, we maybe didn't talk about that, but as a business owner, we end up wearing so many different hats. And sometimes we don't have the CEO hat on strategically in a way that serves us. A lot of times we may have it on in a way that serves the business, but we're not really aligning our own personal goals with the business goals in a way that makes us feel very inspired and happy. And so in speaking with Sandy, we talked about what was going on in her business now. That was how it started. And then we talked about what a previous mentor of mine, Bud, would call your pocket vision. The pocket vision being, what would it be like if you were having the life that you really wanted, where your business was feeding into creating that way of life, that sense of contribution, that inner spark was coming out and being shared in a way that was satisfying both to you as the owner and to the people who are working in the company and to the people who are being served by the company, and even perhaps more broadly in the community or the world. And as we talked about this, Sandy expressed to me a desire to create beauty in the close-in world with her clients' actual properties, and beauty in a broader sense with her art and with the way that she could interact in a bigger way in the world. What I observed that happened with Sandy was, on 4 different counts, amazing things. Her business got better. We didn't quantify in the time that we worked together how much money she made by these things happening, but it was a gradual process. But we definitely saved her company money by having her way of being as leader in her company, infusing her employees with a kind of ownership sense themselves about their level of contribution to the company, and even a sense of pride about their company and how it helped the community. So these are sometimes measurable in terms of money, and sometimes they're measurable in terms of a sense of satisfaction, or whether you have employees taking fewer sick days, this kind of thing. But getting her in touch with her dream and her passion and her sense of where she wanted to take the company, what she wanted to give, how she wanted to hand this off in a superior way to the next generation, had this domino effect that affected her and her family and her community. And she found herself doing volunteer work, working with the homeless, which she had never imagined doing before. So many different things happened because Sandy got in touch with her dream, her desire, and her ability to lead her people. So that's an example of what I do, not the details, the nitty-gritty of the steps that I take, but that is the kind of work that I do and the impact that it has. Why do I do this work? I do this work for 2 reasons. One, when I was working in full-time capacity in Totally Games with my husband, everything I had ever learned working in ad agencies and other people's companies all came to bear. I got to use it in our company, and boy, did I find out the places where I needed help. And how to delegate became really, really important. Finding the people to have doing things that they were better at than me, finding out how to create the right resources and lean on them, and also learning what I was good at and crossing over thresholds of doing things that I was afraid to do but became good at. And I'll just out myself right now and say that doing this talk today is actually crossing over a threshold for me of outing myself about talking about me instead of talking about other people. I'd love to promote other people. And here I'm in a situation as a current business owner of my consultancy and of a former business owner of a software company where it's, crossing a threshold of having to self-promote is one that CEOs, business owners, don't always enjoy or know how to do. And so this is part of my why, is to share with people how to step over their own limits and boundaries in their business to share their message, because the message is more important than our fear of whether we can do it or not. Does that make sense? I have. Lisa, does that make sense?
Yes,
So,
I was sorry, I was on mute.
So,
it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense, and I think that it is one of the hardest things for a lot of small business owners is to do the self-promotion thing. But we gotta do it. It's part of the business.
Exactly. So the self-promotion and the actual recognition of what we're good at. I think we can be so busy in the tyranny of the urgent, we're doing things that are not really good for us to do, things that we could be delegating to somebody else. And there's not a sense of self-appreciation there of, wow, this is the part that I'm really good at, or the part that I really want to be good at, that I'm going to honor myself and develop. So in the why of why I do this, there is a deep, deep message of self-appreciation that I come with. I'm learning my own, I'm in a practice of self-appreciation, and offering my work is a part of honoring myself and my gifts. And exactly. I love to spark people's self-appreciation. I love to see the genius in others, and a lot of times they're aware of it, but we're so close to our genius that we can't appreciate it because we think it's like everybody else. Everybody has this, it's run-of-the-mill, it's common, and it's not special, and so we tend to not appreciate ourselves. So the practice of doing this as a regular, I appreciate myself kind of a practice is one of the most important things, one of the most important reasons why I do this work. And I want to see people who have a message bottled up inside of them get that message out. I think of us like bottles, like that proverbial message in a bottle that floats up to the shore, and how exciting is that? There's something magical in this bottle. It's got a cork on it. We pick it up and we take the cork off, and out comes this message that can change the world. We're the bottle, the message is in there. Sometimes it's corked, and sometimes it just takes somebody saying, do you know what you got? Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how it affected me? Do you know what a difference it's making right now in my life? I hope you do something with that message, because that is so very powerful. That's the why for me. And then there's the who. Who do I work with? As I said, I love working with people who have an established business and who have had success and who have reached this point in their work where they're saying, and now what do I do? They may have what I call a body of work. There's a really good book by Pamela Slim called Body of Work that is about the thread in your entire life of what forms who you are and what you have to offer. And so when I say I like to work with people who have a body of work, and I like to work with creative people, I don't mean just people who have written books or who have great works of art that are in some big museum. Although I love working with people like that, I also love working with people who are embodying a whole, a magical genius, I'll use that word again, and they just need to bring it to a bigger stage. So I'm going to bring on Neil D. Brown now, because Neil is an exact, is a perfect example of the kind of person that I love to work with. Neil has a body of work from working in Santa Cruz as a therapist for more than 30 years. He's got a beautiful message that he's honing right now that he'll probably tell you about. And he has a way that he expresses his work through for both businesses and families and other ways as well. And so I'm going to bring on Neil now and ask him to share what his experience has been working with me and what's happening now. So I'm going to switch it over to you, Neil, and welcome. It's so good to have you here. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Robin, and thanks for having me. Um, and yeah, no, what you described as what you do is exactly what happened to me. What happened was as you mentioned, I've been a completely successful psychotherapist in Santa Cruz for over 30 years. I have a full-time private practice, and I've been enjoying a stream of clients coming to see me for many years. I also have been and am a management consultant. I've had some very big clients and some small family business clients and some local government agency clients. And wherever I've gone, I've had a pretty good time, and I've added value, and I feel like my career has been successful. And I've been working on this. I had been working on this book about parent-child control battles now for about 15 years on and off. And when I would get busy with consulting, I would kind of drop that project and go on to something that was more lucrative than writing a book. And at some point, I just felt like I really want to get this book done. I really wanted to get the message out. And you came to hear me do a talk that I gave at one of the local high schools on parent-child control battles. And I gave those talks to get myself a little more excited about my own message. But I was feeling like I was traveling through molasses. I mean, I have a reputation in Santa Cruz of being the go-to guy if you really need to get unstuck with your kid. If a parent and child need to get unstuck, or a couple needs to get unstuck in their relationship, I've been the go-to guy here with a very excellent reputation for that. Yet, I've wanted to share that message at a bigger stage. I wanted to get a book done. I've wanted to somehow get the message out that you don't have to just go to a therapist endlessly, get generic advice, go home, and really not solve your problem. There really are steps you can take and ways to think about things and ways to create a shift in your relationships, whether it's a couple relationship or a parent-child relationship or a workplace relationship. You can create a shift that's going to be monumental in its impact. But I didn't know how to communicate that out. I didn't know where to go with it. I had this book which was, electronically many chapters, but I couldn't get leverage with it. I didn't know where to go with it. And after your meeting with me, or after my talk, you shared with me that, Neil, you got a hell of a message, but you're really not projecting it the way it really needs to be projected. I was very glued to my PowerPoint. I wasn't even as excited about the message as you were. And so suddenly I felt like, wow, someone actually is getting this. I can't believe it. I've been giving this message, but I didn't know anyone's ever getting it. So suddenly someone says, hey, I get your message, but you're going to have to spark it if you want anyone else to get it. Mm-hmm. So we started working together, and before you knew it, we were screening editors, and you helped me find an editor and helped me understand that there's this new world out there where I have access to the world, and I need to start communicating at a broader level. And so I worked so my book started getting traction. My speaking got clearer, better, more excited, more engaged, more engaging. I participated in some hangouts. My website is under reconstruction. My social media is under reconstruction. And suddenly I have this new vision where I'm going to be communicating on a global stage to try to help families and kids and couples make that shift that they've been struggling to make. And I don't need more money. I'm making reasonable, my income is fine. I'm not needing more success per se. What I'm really needing is a place to share the message that's going to have the impact that I really think this message can have. And suddenly I'm not in the mud. Now I'm instead of being up to my waist in mud, now I'm up to my eyebrows in learning new skills and new and to-do lists. But it's exciting. Suddenly my career is redeveloped. I have a new place to go, and I'm reinventing myself as a person with a message. And by the way, my book is now picked up by a publisher.
Yay.
And now I'm the author of an upcoming book on parent-child control battles, which will be out at the end of the summer of 2016.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Neil. That just being part of this process for you, and really as a parent, part of my reason for being so impassioned for your message is because I could have really used it when my kids were younger, and but I do know that it's also really a powerful message for people who have grown children, and I'll probably be using it with my grown children. But I am just thrilled with your progress, and just so much loving working with you. So what I would love to do now is make available to those of you who are watching this who may identify with this this feeling of, I would like to have a bigger stage, I would like to get better in touch with my message needs re-sparking. I would like to offer you the same kind of session that I offered to Sandy back a few years ago, where we created a whole new outcome for her. This is complimentary, and it will be available just by emailing me at my email address, which you can see right below my name there, robincreates@gmail.com. If you put spark in the message line, I will reach back to you and we'll schedule a time to talk. It would be my honor to serve you or somebody you know who can relate to this situation. And I just can't emphasize enough the potential that this kind of a conversation can have for you or somebody that you really care about. So that's my little special offer for you. And that's it for today. I really appreciate those of you who have been able to watch real time on YouTube or on Google+. And for those of you who are catching this as a replay, I'd so appreciate you being here. And I thank you again, Lisa, for moderating and for your support as a colleague, and Neil for sharing your story. I'm just ever so grateful. And I think that we're probably right at the little stopping point now. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you hopefully in a conversation. Thank you.